Our next stop is the wastewater treatment facility that's located on Gale Road. Have you ever wondered where it went when you flushed the toilet or even washed your hands? Josh is going to be our tour guide today as we learn about how our community goes through the process of protecting our citizens and the environment. When wastewater comes into the facility, it's already traveled a long way by going through wastewater pump stations and pipes underground. Organic material like human waste and toilet paper have already dissolved, and anything that hasn't dissolved needs to be removed before the water can be treated. Many people don't realize that they shouldn't flush anything that isn't organic down the toilet. The only 3 things that should go are the 3 P's: pee, poop, and toilet paper. This dumpster is typically filled at least once a week with items that shouldn't be flushed. Let's listen to Josh as he tells us a little bit more about his facility.
So the first step of the process of the wastewater treatment plant is called screening. So basically the purpose of the screening is to remove everything that's not wastewater. So it's all the stuff that people shouldn't flush. So you got paper towels, you can't flush paper towels. The only thing that goes down the toilet is toilet paper. It's a 3 P's: toilet paper, pee, and poop. That's it. Everything else should not be flushed down the toilet because it ends up here and can cause major system issues out in the system. Rag accumulation accounts to a lot of overtime for pulling pumps. It plugs pumps. It's a major nuisance.
Now let's go see where all that magic happens. Now that any undissolved items are removed, it's ready to meet the bacteria. Yes, I did say that. Bacteria. There's good and bad bacteria, and the plant actually grows the good bacteria that eats all the bad bacteria. And that wastewater is pumped through these channels, and it's mixed with the good bacteria and oxygen. And this gives the microorganisms time to remove and clump together anything harmful to the environment. Chemicals aren't even used. It's all a natural process.
So after this is where all the treatment actually happens. This is actually where we're removing all the harmful bacteria, your water-causing pathogens, your any water diseases basically is happening here for the most part. Ammonia treatment is the biggest thing that happens in these tanks. So ammonia is very lethal to aquatic life at very low concentrations. So that's kind of the major priority pollutant that we actually remove.
The next step is the clarifiers. The good bacteria clumps together and it becomes heavy, while the clean water raises to the top.
So basically, from that aeration train, that final last tank, the solids will come up from the middle of that, the mixed liquor is what it's called. That little center ring is just a baffle plate, slows it down even more. Once it slows down, the solids will naturally settle to the bottom. On the bottom of this, there's a huge vacuum cleaner arms that we basically vacuum the solids out and then return them back to the front of the plant.
In the next part of the process, the water is moved up by a set of large screws that can move up to 5 million gallons of water a day. This process needs to be higher than the floodplain zone of the area. And these screws, they're more efficient than a pump, and they can handle the changes in the water amounts. The water then flows under these UV lights, and that kills any residual bacteria. The next stop is the post-aeration tanks. The salt and iron concentrate that was removed from the water treatment plant, it's piped over and it's mixed to be diluted with the cleaned wastewater. You can see it coming from the pipe right now. That dirty wastewater that came into the plant is now cleaned and it's ready to be released back to the creek. Remember that good bacteria that was clumped together and it was removed? Well, some of it returns to the beginning and it helps to clean the new wastewater, while some it's sent here. It's pressed together to create a cake-like solid that now becomes a rich fertilizer. Check this out. Instead of paying money to have the fertilizer taken to a garbage dump, the treatment plant applies it to the fields of the local farmers in the spring and the fall. And it's a non-chemical nutrient that's rich in phosphorus and ammonia, and it's a win-win situation for all. Check out all that fertilizer. From healthy farmlands to healthy creeks, the wastewater treatment plant is here to keep our community and environment safe for all.